I'll be hanging about outside her front door. I'll be eyes roll, loving her all year round. Yeah, loving her all year round. Now the lilac is in bloom. Oh, before our little room.
Hey, welcome back to Straight Talk, No BS. I'm Jay, your host, and I'm here with my co-hosts Tanya, Francis, and Cynthia. And today we're going to be talking about breaking the chains. No one in life should feel guilty for doing what's best for them. If it brings you peace, happiness, confidence, enjoy your journey. Sometimes it even means that you have to leave people behind. Don't feel guilty for having to leave people behind. And sometimes, you know what? When you have people depending on you, it will make you break those chains. Now I'm going to turn the mic over. Francis, what do you think about our topic today?
Hmm. It's a topic that I'm pretty sure a lot of people need and probably want to hear because you got a lot of people that don't know how to break the chain. They continue in that same path that they've seen growing up and they don't know how to step away from it. They just continue that same path. And the one thing that they say is, well, this is how I was raised. This is all I know. This is what I was taught, you know. So in order to break that chain, you really have to step back and look and see, okay, what my parents doing, is this the same thing that I want to do? Do I really want to travel down that path, or do I need my own path?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes when we do walk down that path, we don't realize till later on that we actually took on some of those roles that we saw them, saw them doing. We travel down that same road and we don't, and subconsciously we don't realize it. So we're going and we're doing the same things, and we could say all day, I'm not her, or I'm not him, I'm not doing what they do. But in reality, it doesn't matter if it's something different. If it's along the same line, you're doing the same exact thing.
Do you
So
see that it's something that you took on that, maybe from a family member or something like that yourself personally?
yeah, I mean, we all do. Well, whether we know it or not, if we pay attention to it, when you get to know yourself, when you start looking at who you are within and start looking at the things that you do, you will realize that some of your everyday actions are that of those before you. Whether
Mm,
it's your mother, your father, your grandmother, anybody that was before you that had a hand in raising you.
mm,
Once you start knowing yourself, you get to looking and you say, I didn't realize I was doing it. I said I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't going to ever do that. And you find yourself doing it. And that means whether it's in a emotional way, physical way, mentally, you know, all these things play a role. So I mean, like, you just gotta know when to say, okay, I'm not gonna do this. This is not who I am. And then you practice at it and you strive to go on your own path, not be who they are. I mean, like, Cynthia, what about you?
For me personally, what you said was definitely a home run. And for me, it was discipline. My mother was very stern and and straightforward with her discipline, and she didn't stray with her discipline. So therefore, when I turn and have my children, I do the same thing, even though in the back of your mind you say, I'm not her, I'm not him, I'm not them. It's so much of the residue from the way you come up that no matter how you shake, it's gonna fall off on you. But to again in itself, you as your own individual person can decide to step back and break that chain. You can break that family cycle of mental, physical, emotional, alcohol, drug abuse, or whatever. Just because you didn't go drink or smoke, that don't mean some of that residue didn't rub off on you. You know,
Right.
my oldest daughter doesn't discipline her children because in her mind I disciplined her too much. You know, it's in the Bible, God forgive me, you spread a raw, you fool the child. But in
Mm.
her mind, you know, you hit us too much. We got in trouble for too much. You know, we were not able to be free and figure out who or what we wanted to be. And so now she has three children of her own. And I'm telling her, because of the residue from my mom, you know, you have to lay your discipline foundation early. You have to. You
Mm-hmm.
don't want them to become teenagers or young adults and then they're out of control. You rather discipline them in the home than for the streets to discipline them. I told
Oh
her I
yeah.
wasn't perfect. I wasn't perfect by far, but I did what I thought was right because that's what I was taught. Now, was I better at it than my mama? Maybe a little bit, but that don't mean I was always right in some of the decisions that I made. So I can't
Mm-hmm.
regret
Mm.
that either. It's a 50-50 give and take.
Mm-hmm.
Do you notice any resentment, Cynthia, from your children because of that?
Oh, yes, ma'am. And the difference between me and my mother, where we were not able to be open and discuss the resentment, you know, because I'm your parent, you're not my mother, you're not my father. I
Yeah.
gave my kids the open format as young adults to say, hey, well, what do you feel like could have been different? You know, and when they open up to certain things, I was like, okay, well, I'll give you that. I can't rightfully take it back. And I'm not going to go through the house apologizing for what I thought at that particular time was right. But maybe along your line of bringing up your children and your future, you know, you can do a little bit better than me. I don't believe that saying that we grew up with what happens in this house stays in this house. No, if it's hurting you and you can't strive to be a bigger and better person, find you somebody to talk to. Find you an outlet to let it go. That's the whole purpose in breaking that chain. Because if you don't, you become a statistic of what you saw, of what you went through. And some stuff we go through, I'm not gonna even lie. Uh, some of the struggles I had as a child, it made me the individual that I am today. The single mother, the African American black woman, the woman with a disability, the woman with seizures. It made me very strong and find my own independence. So I'm not knocking my mother or my father by far. It's some things that they could have done better, but because they didn't, it showed me what I didn't want to do. So I don't want this segment to be about, oh, pitiful us or oh, pitiful me, because I'm not pitiful. I'm
Mm-hmm.
45 and I broke the chain of what I feel like would have held me back with my family in the past.
Yeah.
Now it's time for the new generation, which is my children and their children. Whatever residue I left on them, they got to figure out how to break it. And if they don't, then the world's going to eat them up. So this is not about, oh, pitiful us. You know, what can you do to better yourself? How can you fix yourself?
Yeah.
What is something that you want your children to change that maybe they probably from you from your upbringing? What would you want them to change?
Um, for me, I need my kids to know, no matter what, you are your child's parent before a friend.
Mm.
You know, I'd rather your child, you know, feel like, damn, mom and daddy don't love, you know, they love me, but they didn't play with me. Because right now, for me, my son is 27, Sandra's 26, and then my youngest is 24. I'm not saying have that fear, but you can't be on that path to where we buddy buddy, because that road is going to come, and then the kids are going to feel like they can be disrespected toward they their parent. And
Yep.
I'll give you a prime example. My 2-year-old granddaughter thinks it's okay to say no. Nope, I'm not
Mm,
gonna do it. Nope, I'm not listening to you. Nope, my mama said. Or my 1-year-old grandson, and as grandparents, we think it's cute, but it's really not cute. He
right.
run through the house saying sugar, honey, iced tea, and he'll throw his hands up and oh, oh, and he know what he's saying. He know the word is bad, but because that's what he hears with his parents, that's something he has adopted. You see what I'm saying? It's a natural cause for him. And so for me, they got to pull back and see what works for them. Just because it worked for me don't mean it'll work for you. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Go
Go
Uh,
ahead,
ahead.
Trey.
and since we had answered that question, now Tanya, what about you? What is something of your past that you have noticed you have carried on? You might not have wanted to, you might not thought you were doing it, but you actually do.
You know, breaking the chains is a topic that, I kind of struggled with a little bit, and I had to think about it, but it really is like a form of um, change, right? Change for yourself
Hmm.
personally, whether it's family, something that's been going on in your family, a long history in your family, or just maybe
Hmm.
a simple habit of yourself. And, something that I realized that I took with me, I never thought that I would when I was younger, should I say. And I'm going to speak on my weight again because my mom struggled with that for as long as I can remember. I mean, she probably had a closet full of every workout tape possible, all a room full of workout equipment. It just seemed like something she battled with a lot. And when I was younger, like, junior high, high school, I was kind of semi-active at that point, and I was like, that's not something I'll worry about. But I did, and it didn't. It was, something in my subconscious because I was always a bigger girl, bigger person than everybody in the class. People would say comments, and I would just brush it off like, that ain't nothing. Whatever. I had a tougher skin about, or I developed one, and I guess I just got oblivious to the fact that I'm following in my mom's footsteps. Over the years, slowly the weight just kept on coming, and I don't know why I ignored it, but I ended up with that same battle. And my mama passed on and still was worrying about her weight. That was still something that bothered her. And so just recently what I know about breaking the chain is that you can change it. You whatever it is that you don't like, or you finally come to terms and realize that, hey, this is something that's a problem, whether it's a health issue or an addiction like Cynthia was talking about, whatever, what have you. You can change it. Whatever you don't like about yourself, you can change it. And I think the reasons for the change has to be that you really want it, not because of pressure from somebody else, or something you might have seen, some kind of influence or whatever, outside influence.
Definitely has to
Mhm.
be that you want it.
Yes.
Can't
Amen.
be for anybody else.
And,
But
and
And
Mhm.
that's basically what it was for myself, to finally start saying, I want this change for me. Not saying my mom didn't want it, because she did, but it's just like life always interfered. And that was kind of my excuse too. Oh, I'll get around to it. It's no big deal. It's just a few more extra pounds. It's just another size up, all that kind of situation. But nah, I finally got to the point where I'm like, I have to. I have to, and I want it. So
you
then it
finally
lasts.
finally got to the point to where you stopped trying and you became committed and you made a commitment to do it. Yes.
Yeah.
well,
I
that's
have to say, with me, I was lucky because I was like a nomad. I traveled around the whole neighborhoods, different people's houses, had so many friends. So I had multiple families to just look at and observe. And I seen all the things that I said, I don't want my life to turn out that way. I don't want to be on drugs. I don't want to be an alcoholic, so many things that I saw. So that's what helped me through a lot of my battles and made me make the right decisions. Where I said, you know what, these won't be no chains that I have to break.
I know that's right. Hmm.
So go ahead,
What
friend.
about? I was gonna say, like Cynthia touched on parenting a while ago, and
Mhm.
I remember when I was younger, I used to always say, because Judy, you know, we used to get, when I say we used to get beat, I'm talking about from curtain rods to extension cords, wooden spoons, anything she could get her hands on. That's what we get hit with. And I remember one day I was told to go upstairs and look for something. And I couldn't find what she asked me to look for. And I was at the top of the stairs. We stayed on Horde Street over in Sherman. And I stood at the top of the stairs and told her, she was laying on the couch. I said, I can't find it. And if I wouldn't have been paying attention, it would have hit me. But she picked up a butcher knife and threw it at me.
Oh, Jesus.
And I always used to say, I'm not going to do my kids like that. I'm not going to do my kids like that because I don't like to be hit. And I know it hurts. But at the same time, when I now, there's a difference between a whooping and a beating.
Boy.
You know, some people don't know the difference. And when I did spank my kids, I actually hit them on their behinds. It wasn't no over the head, and it was with a belt, nothing other than. Um, and at the same time, I realized they didn't get very many whoopings, but I also robbed them of um, the knowledge of a lot of things, trying to protect them. You know what I'm saying? As far as even with their feelings, because like I said, like I told y'all earlier, it's where they didn't even order for them own selves when we go out to eat. I had to do it. You know what I'm saying? Taking certain things from them. And the crazy thing is I allowed my son to start picking out his clothes at the age of 4 when we go shopping for clothes. He had started picking out his clothes at the age of 4, and he also picked out his sister's clothes. So it's like you have to. We weren't given choices like that. You know what I'm saying? So with mine, I chose to at least give them a choice in something that they actually had control over, and had to remember that now other choices they can't make from themselves, it's my job to make for them. So it's like if you feel like, okay, I was done like this, so I'm not going to do my kids like that, you still have to stop and think. There has to be a line of discipline though, and it has to be a line of discipline. If not, you ruin them from the world. Get
And
ready
that
for the
and
world.
that
So
is the absolute truth. But I'm sorry, Judy, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask her, were you afraid to discipline your children because of what your mother, how your mother disciplined you? Is that is that
uh
the reason why you sort of
no, no, no.
sheltered them?
As far as the discipline go, I did discipline them. I just didn't discipline them to the extent that I was disciplined.
No.
That's the part that I did not. That's the part I wasn't gonna do. That beyond part, the part where you go beyond and you hit them with anything and everything you can get your hands on, balling up your fist, knocking them upside the head. No, but they did get disciplined. I
Now,
mean,
and I have to say, I can understand that as far as not wanting to be what you experienced when you were younger. I think every last one of us can probably attest to something like that. But I went to the far end of the spectrum,
Sure did.
because of what I went through. I went on the all the way. Oh, well, I see this and I see my kids doing something or whatever, and I didn't discipline them at all, hardly. And to this day I see the repercussions of that now. My kids are making decisions sometimes that I say, man, if I had just been harder on them and made them learn lessons, they might have actually not have to go through some of the things they're going through right now, because I think it was Cynthia that said the world is going to eat them up and spit them out. you
Oh
know,
yes,
and
baby.
I regret that part because I something up here said I can't do what I went through to my kids, and seeing anything similar to it. I mean, not to the extent, just a smidgen of what it's something up here. It stuck with me, and I took it to the other end of the spectrum, which does not help your
But
children when you're trying to raise them. It just don't.
yeah, because you have to we have to remember that whatever was done to us, that doesn't mean not to discipline. Like I said a while ago, I discipline them, just not to the extent that she disciplined us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
No,
saying? Trusting. I'm gonna tell you one time, my son did something, and I think this was the first whooping that he ever got. He was 4 years old. My sister Treese had just got through doing Tasha's hair. Tasha long, pretty hair, all these little ponytails, girl. And when she got through, and they had barrettes on the end of them, real cute. So me and my sister was in the kitchen. We shared a house at the time. We were in the kitchen, and we were preparing dinner. And I looked at her and I said, "It's too quiet. Where are the kids at?" So we ran to the back. We ran down the hallway. My room door was open. Her room door wasn't. I went to twist the knob and the door was locked. I ran back to the kitchen, got a butter knife, and pried the door open. Honey, when we got in there, all we seen off of one side of her head was ponytails laying on the floor with barrettes wrapped around them. And to top it off, he had a pair of scissors, girl, and was cutting up some paper like he was practicing before he cut her ponytails.
Oh, Jesus.
Honey, when I say I spanked his behind, and I spanked him on the behind, and then I put him to bed, I made him lay down. And then it got to when as they got a little older, it was no, you can't have company. You're not going outside. And the one thing he loved the most was basketball. I would take his basketball from him.
Hmm.
And that hurt him more than me putting a belt to his behind.
Hmm. So
y'all
you
So,
story
found other alternatives, basically.
yeah.
y'all
Hmm.
story sounds so political. My poor children. I
We already
mean,
know. Joe
straight
Jackson.
to no BS. I'm live saying I apologize. You know, 'cause I didn't get that chick like Joe. I tried.
You try to do what?
I I should have a doctor, a lawyer, baby. When you say uh the you got hit with the wooden spoon,
Oh,
child,
yeah.
I had a cane. My cane was named Betty. Okay, I had a
Dumb.
look brown, real sturdy. I mean healthy cane. Cause
Jesus.
all my kids was bigger than me. I ain't got time to be trying to chase you. My son is 6'3", he a solid, 215, man. That bell would, look, I'm sitting here quiet because y'all make me see, I'm sorry, Child Protective Service. Y'all, I'm sorry. Baby, please,
Jesus.
please forget children, look, figure it out. That's
But
all I can say.
it's like this though. Okay, we understand, Cynthia. You got with yeah, but it's like
Yeah,
this. I guarantee you that a manner of discipline does end up teaching your children a manner of respect. Because there's certain things they will and will not do because of the discipline and the structure. I'm gonna call it structure in their life. You
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
know
that's a
that
real
that's
struggle.
needed more
That
than
is
ever.
tough. Yeah,
I think that's
yeah.
a reason why a lot of children, and I mean, I know this is not our topic, but I think that's a lot of reason why a lot of children these days are the way they are, so unruly, just
But when
just
they took
careless.
discipline and stuff out of school, discipline and prayer, the Pledge of Allegiance, when they took all that stuff out of school, they messed up these younger generation of children. I,
Mm,
Oh,
I,
no,
I'm
no,
not
no, no. I'm going
talking.
to tell you, right behind that, that ain't the only place they messed up at. Honey, when they gave them the opportunity to call 911, ooh, honey,
I've had them
honey,
called on me one time.
Okay.
honey. When they told
Mm.
them that it was okay, and what I didn't understand was
That's because Tanya
we
broke
could
the
be
chain. You shouldn't have broke the
we
chain. You should have left that discipline in place. See, you would never
yes,
broke the chain. The police wouldn't have been knocking at our door.
Okay, this is
because I
real
mean
talk.
because it's like, remember when we were in school, you get in trouble, you got that board against the butt.
Oh,
Now I remember how that felt, and that stung, and it hurt like, whoo, sweet Jesus. So my son, when he got in second grade, and they were talking about whooping him with the paddle, honey, that handbook never made it back to the school. And when I found I had, this was the first time I had ever read a handbook. I had no use in reading a, handbook, not even when I was in school. But this time, because I had children, I read the handbook.
hmm.
I signed the handbook, and over on the side, I wrote, "Do not, under any circumstances, put that board to my child. If my child
Really?
is acting up, you call me and I will deal with it."
Why did you say that?
Because I know what that felt like. I do not, you not, listen, I don't hit my own child with any kind of object other than a belt. Do you
Okay.
honestly believe that I'm gonna let somebody that we only see how many days of a year,
Right.
half of a school year, hit my baby with a board?
Now
No.
and I can understand where you're coming from. I mean, it's almost like I remember stories of back in the day. I guess with my parents, they used to say that everybody in the neighborhood would give them a whooping before it was over with. The neighbor down the street, you know what I'm saying? It was almost like you had the freedoms like that, and people trusted. I
Well,
guess.
that was a little different though. You have to remember, when your neighborhood punished you, it wasn't with a board with holes in it. They got on your
Mm.
behind as if you were one of their children. They treated you like you were one of their children. They didn't treat you like you
Okay.
was a slave. They
So
treated you like you
okay.
were their natural born child. So
So
when
you're
they
saying
got
it was
onto
excessive.
you, yes,
Okay.
that
Again,
part that part of the punishment I don't believe in.
Mm.
again, I was still opposite. I went and got some paper notarized. Don't keep calling me off my job. Look,
Take care of
I'm
that.
going, I'm going to Chase Bank and I'm gonna get this paper notarized. And if you can't handle this, then you need to put them in a class, a teacher that can give me an old teacher with a wig and some red
Okay.
lipstick
All right.
and some custom hair. Because I can't keep missing my check because you can't make him sit in that seat.
I hear
Y'all
you.
keep on him to be ADHD when all he needs is a little tender look. Now, Francis, I will admit there was a few teachers
Uh-huh.
that I had to come out of my character with because they decided to handle my kids rough. So I do understand what you're saying about not sending that handbook back with the paddling. But it was also a few teachers along elementary, middle school, and high school
Mhm.
that it was one lady, her name was Miss Davis, and she was from New Orleans. And when I say she had that New Orleans accent, and she told my child, she said, "I'm not gonna call your mama, baby. I'm gonna take you in the bathroom and I'm gonna do what I know to do. You know, if
Oh,
that behind and you're behind, then me and your mama have to just get out there in the school parking lot." So when she said that, she thought I was coming and we finna get into a cussing battle. I went bought
Mhm.
her some candy. I went bought her a soda. Girl, look, let me get your number. Cause see,
oh
Right.
my gosh.
that lets me know you're not gonna let this
Mhm.
15-year-old run your
Yes.
class. Cause
That's right.
you here to teach her, you get your check every month on the 15th. She trying to get a
Mhm.
check, but she ain't getting. Okay, she ain't got there yet.
Mm.
So when my daughter realized that that teacher wasn't playing with her, she,
Mhm.
that was the
Right.
only class Sandra got an A in, and I'm not lying. That was the
Hey,
only
that's
class
on.
Sandra got an A in. Cause she didn't cut no corners with her at all. Now the other teachers, that was a different ball game.
Ladies, I've enjoyed all of this. That we have a guest that's going to come in. Keith is her name, and this is a young lady that I just heard speaking on Facebook the other day. I was in a funk. I was sitting at the table. We were supposed to go out and go meet some friends. And I didn't want to go anywhere. I was like, no, I don't feel like going. And I was just scrolling down Facebook. And all of a sudden, I ran across her live. And everything that she said, it just felt like she was speaking to me. She was just so inspirational. And you know how sometimes you just get a vibe from somebody's spirit. I got a
Mm-hmm.
vibe from this girl's spirit. And I said, you know what? I have to have her on our show. I,
Hmm.
I don't know what it is. It's just inspirational to me, and I just want y'all to meet her. Okay, her name is Keisha. Let's welcome Kiso to the show.
Thank you.
Hey,
Hey,
Keisha.
Hello, how
Hey,
you
everybody.
doing?
Oh, man, I'm so honored to be here. Thank y'all so much. Thank you for such
thank
a
you for
wonderful
coming on.
introduction. Oh, my God. I felt like I should have put on like more clothes or something. You know, I'm only dressed from the waist up. I'm like, hand me some pants the way she brought me on here. I need a whole outfit. Thank y'all. Thank
We thank
y'all.
you for coming on, though. We really appreciate it.
Man, I appreciate being here. I see the topic is about breaking the chains of life. Yes, let's
Yes.
talk about that. I'm
What about some like generational curses? I saw something in one of the comments, like something that you've noticed has gone on from maybe not just your parents, but maybe
oh,
before
let me
that.
come off the Wi-Fi. I'm gonna have to. I came off the Wi-Fi because the power just went out. So y'all bear with me. The devil is a lie.
All right,
He is a
say it
lie.
again.
But
Amen.
yes, can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yes.
you.
Oh no, I think I'm frozen.
Yep, she
You're
is.
frozen, but we can
Well,
hear
we can
you.
still hear you. Oh, she's gone.
You can hear
No,
me.
I'm bringing her back in.
Oh.
There you go, Kiso.
So I don't know if y'all heard me say there's actually an active storm going on right now. So if you see the lights blinking and stuff in the background, that is because we are in the middle of a storm. And it
Ooh,
turns
duck.
out Mama and them lied. I've been using Wi-Fi, watching TV and everything while it's lightning, and I ain't died yet. So yes, I'm
Jesus.
here.
Jesus.
Oh my
I am here.
Oh my God. Any of y'all got any questions for Kiso?
Well,
So,
first of all,
go ahead, Francis.
I was just gonna ask. I was curious on how old she was.
So I'm so excited. I'm actually getting ready to be 35. I will be 35
Nice.
December 11th. And I know some people feel like that's far. But
No,
I have been so blessed recently. I
no.
can't wait to celebrate the day I got here. You know what
I
I'm
know
All
saying?
that's
right.
right.
Yes,
I know
honey.
that's right.
35 years strong. Yes.
Can you
Nice.
share with us some of the chains that you might have broken in life or some
I
experience?
mean, yes. Yes, let's get to the meat. Yes. Um, I think one of the most important lessons I learned, and I feel like growing up. First, let me just start there. I was raised by my great grandparents. My great grandfather was a bishop. And a pastor. My great grandmother obviously was a first lady, as well as an evangelist. And when he passed, she took on the church and things of that nature. So I grew up heavy in the church. And I always liked girls. But the way that I grew up and what was indoctrinated in me, it was something like that I knew I couldn't really talk about. I was like, let me go ahead on and pick me a bishop's son for the low, so I can get my creep on. Like I was really just trying to figure life out.
Right.
And so I struggled a lot spiritually because of that. Knowing that I'm most comfortable gay, but I was taught that you can't have a relationship with God if you gay. You can't be blessed if you gay. You go into hell if you
Yeah.
gay. But at the same time, I had people prophesying over my life saying, I see you as a minister. I know you're gonna preach one day. I see you changing lives. And so I never had the ability to believe in the vision because they had already done told me like the best part of myself, the one thing that I knew to be true about myself was gonna send me to hell. So I'm like, well, how God, this is some contradicting messages. Like, why you got me liking these people like this? And I can't be
Right.
like, which job you want me to do? Because one of these things is funner than the other. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and so I came to a place in my life where I had no choice but to face the harsh realities that was myself. And when I say that, I mean, often we go through things in this life and we bury stuff, you know, things happen bad, or, you know, a relationship didn't go as we planned, or we lose a loved one, and we don't actually really deal with the pain that is that. We hide it inside. And when you keep hiding and carrying and hiding and carrying, there will come a day, whether you see that day actually manifest or it just take you to the grave, you will implode. And I hit that milestone in my life after, you know, burying my son, which was major. Okay. Major. I mean, you're talking major life change. And I do have CPTSD. So sometimes my mind will take me somewhere, but I'll be right back around that corner. I promise you. It's always a message in that turnaround when he sent me that away. But losing my son, it was out of nowhere. I feel like it's different if it's just a freak accident or something like that. When you lose a child, it's just traumatic, period. He was 12 years old. He got diagnosed with lymphoma, stage 4, letter B, out the gate. Okay, cancer out the gate. It's funny because, and this is something I teach, you know, mothers often, not only because of my trauma, but because learning to listen to the God in me and the intuition in me is what gave him the bit of life he had. Something kept telling me he was sick. And, you know, it's like when you have a baby. I don't know if any of you have children. Anybody has children?
Yes. All of us.
Yes.
Okay. So, you know, when you had that baby, when they're small, you can feel that ear infection. I promise you. You can feel, you just know what it is as a mother. You be like, oh, they trying to get congested, or oh, they got colic. Every mother who's ever had a baby with colic, no doctor told you your baby had colic. You
knew it before. Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. Because it's something you feel. And I kept feeling like my baby's sick. Like, what's wrong? You know, and all of a sudden he started running these fevers and stuff. And anyway, I ran him back and forth to the doctor, and they told me, oh, it's nothing. He's fine. You know, his blood levels are low and this, that, and the other. But I'm going to tell you this. I took him to an old holistic man, this Asian dude. I promise you, the dude's shoes
there you go.
was 20 sizes too big. You hear what I'm saying? You could.
They're the best.
My husband at the time was looking at me like, we gonna let this nigga who don't know what size shoe he wear tell us what's wrong with the baby? I'm like, okay, you know, I grew up holistic. And I just believe, you know, I believe in this herbal thing. He said, I don't know, Queen, I promise you. The dude came in, he took my son's face. I can't make this up. This is what he did. Looked in his nose, pressed around, and when he got right here, when he said, "Oh, I'm freezing," but you can hear me, right?
Yeah. Yes, we can hear you. Come on.
Can you hear me still?
Yes, we can hear you.
But I'm freezing. That's okay. Don't worry about it. You know what I look like, girl. I ain't even put but they say I got this virus. Anyhow, the Asian man done felt all over his face and stuff, right? And he said, well, we're going to do a sonogram. So my husband at the time said, a sonogram? That don't make sense. Girl, he put that thing on his stomach. He said, we're going to have to airlift him to the hospital. I said, why? He said, because I'm not practicing and I'm in holistic medicine legally. I can't tell you what this is. So now I'm really tripping, right? I'm like, what? We airlift the kid to Westchester Medical Center. I'm talking about the same day we got there. We found out the most devastating news in the world. Now, I decided in that moment, and I'm a very silly person by nature. I'm sure you don't pick that up. I said, we're not surrendering to this thing. And so when we realized we had to tell our kid that, listen, you got cancer and this is going to be the route we're going to have to take and all that. I remember he tried to cry a little bit and I was like, And it's funny because my grandmother was really hard on me that way. And she always warred in the spirit, but she was stern with it. And I always felt like it was almost bullying. But I didn't realize what it made me. And so I gave that back to my son. That's why we have to be careful what we do in front of our kids. Because we just like we do what our parents do, they're going to do what we do. But girl, that spirit came out. And I was like, nah, we ain't going to surrender to that. No, we ain't even going to confess that. My son went through having cancer, went through chemo and everything. Girl, we made skits every day. Everybody on the hospital ward knew me. The mothers knew me because I would come on that floor, man, with my son. And these women used to sit up in their room sad, watching their children dying. I'm telling you, we were seeing them roll kids out every day. Girl, I come on that floor bugging. Okay. We was losing money left and right. Because when you going through this, you lose money. I would fry. Now, this is me. I'm in my 20s at this time, so girl, I was looking kind of good. It was like stuff was kind of, stuff was kind of situated. And baby, I would fry big old long pans of chicken. The long church pan of chicken. Girl, I would
Yep.
eat big old pans of chicken. And that chicken and me cutting up and knowing and having that word of God in me would bring them women out the room. And they would laugh and they would smile. These were things that these women couldn't experience anymore because we are all watching our children suffer, waiting for the day for the doctors to tell us this is it. And so it's hard to find peace in that. But I created an environment for my son where the life that he had, however much life it was going to be, baby, we was living it. You hear me?
Amen.
So there's no way after he's gone that I cannot live life. Because to not live life would be against everything I taught him. Do you know, in my son's last days, I'm talking about some pride. I'm getting ready to tell you pride. This is the kind of pride you can't understand until this is something you've experienced. In his last days, I'm talking about drawing his last breath, I yelled out to my son, if you can hear me, wave your hand. I'm yelling, and the nurse is telling me he can still hear. This boy, he shouldn't have even been able to make a sound. Waved his hand, his fist in power. It was a way that we spoke to let me know, man, I'm going in power. This is what you taught me.
All right.
Hard to find meaning in the most devastating time of your life. But you have to understand that anything that God has put in your life, God, Allah, elephant, doorknob, whatever. Because see, I try to speak in such a way that it touch everybody. I don't want people to be limited to just Christianity, whatever you believe in. Because I'm telling you right now, if I get up and the Lord tell me to pray to this here plastic flower, I believe it's going to change lives. Okay? You hear what I'm saying? Girl, when I tell you the sense of pride I had to see my son go out that way, the way that it created, it's like him leaving here gave birth to me. Do you understand what I'm saying? I lived a life for a very long time. I was married, and I was married to my best friend, but my feelings really was somewhere else. And that's why when we came to an end, because he was my best friend, we were able to remain close. That's my dog to this day. We are actually just getting to the place where we're going separate ways. Like, I mean, we have been in the same home, everything, supported one another. He lived a completely separate life from me, but it's nothing but love. You understand? That's a God thing. People people see me and they're like, oh, this must be a poly relationship. They must all be sleeping with each other. No, ma'am. Understand that what you live and what you think will manifest around you. I know that this man was God sent. See, sometimes things don't work out with people in our lives and we hold them hostage to their mistake. And we forget the reason why God put them in our life in the first place. And you may have thought the blessing was that easy beginning, but really they supposed to be there to pull you through this trial where this is going to be that one person that know enough about you to where you can get naked and you can trust them. You understand that sometimes we forget that. Going through that situation, losing my son, where it tore me apart mentally, it gave me the ability to rely on no one but the God in me, because there was no one else who can answer these questions. You think I was comfortable enough to go to my friends and feel like, man, I feel like ain't no God. I feel like ain't no such thing. I couldn't have that conversation out loud. I was ashamed of the feelings and the emotions that I was having. But because I had the opportunity to be alone with myself and be so vulnerable, it gave me the opportunity to learn how much self-talk I actually do. How much internal thinking that's going on that's negative, that's manifesting before me, that was starting to pull me down. That depression. I didn't even know what depression was. Tell the truth. If you grew up, if y'all in your 30s, 40s right now, depression was something for white folks, just like autism and ADD. We don't care.
I'll tell you something. Yep, that wasn't something. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we didn't associate that with us. That's new. I'm like, nah, I can't start be sitting around here thinking about that, believing everything the clinics say, them clinical, that y'all letting these clinical diagnoses dictate your life. The devil is a liar. When they told me I had CPTSD and we went through my traumas, they told, oh, you're going to need this, you can't sleep, you're going to need that. Honey, I operate my best off my 3 hours. And let me tell you something, sometimes the nights are rough. Sometimes I relive them terrors. And most times I really do. But every morning when I get up, I am grateful. And I promise you, I don't mistreat people. This is how I really live. Aiden. I do not mistreat people. I've had people come do me dirty. I've had people were using me. I was aware of that. I helped them anyway. You know why? It will not return unto me void. It will not. Now, For them, that's going to be something else. They think that they did something. They think they tricked me into something. They think they took something from me. But in real life, I put out in the atmosphere exactly what I need to come back. And that's what favor really is. When people say, oh, favor ain't fair. Favor is something that you have to invest in spiritually. You don't just get favor because you know a few verses. You don't just get favor you get favor because you live that way, because you have invested that in people, because you have invested that in situations, because you have trusted the Lord to keep you. I get so tired of people yelling, Jesus, Jesus, God, God, and they ain't got the faith to trust the car to get them to work with no gas. How many times I've been to work with no gas and then drove past the gas station just dumb? I'm like, God, drive. Oh, well, I trust the Lord to get me there. Come on. Y'all stop playing, man. I'm telling you, from my experiences, from losing a child, from childhood trauma, abuse, physical, mental, sexual abuse, I should have surrendered to the enemy. I have people in my support group who get up and tell me they don't have a desire to brush their teeth or to hug their kids or to live. Who? Me. Girl, I get up and I thank him every morning. And when I look at those people and I encourage them and I speak life into them, it's a constant reminder of the work that is indebted in me. If you have the strength to carry on, if God delivered you out of something and you're not taking that to help somebody else, then you have failed mankind. You have failed the reason why the Lord has put you here. You think you just survived something to be selfish and say, oh, God, look what he did. It's not about you. Coming out of this thing is about changing lives. It's about spreading the love. It's about investing in one another. Stop seeing people for who they are, for what you see on the surface. Oh, she thinks she all Latin, but she dying inside. Some of these people just get dressed every day to look good because that's all they know to do. They think that's hiding all the wounds. Honey, I love everybody. You hear me?
Yes,
Everybody.
yes.
I have loved some people. I have loved some people who were nasty to me when I first met them. I can't get them away from. Girl, you sick? Let me make it your footstool. Y'all run around here scared of these people, wanting to argue and fight back with them. I wish I would fight back. For what? Waste my energy for what? Come on. This thing is what
Inspirational. Definitely.
not the Bible group you belong to. It is not the prayer meeting you attend on the phone every day. It is your life. It's your life. And it's how you live it. Me? No, ma'am.
Yep. That's right. That's right.
The left that she implanted that
Oh, you're
foundation
breaking up.
of
I can't hear you.
wisdom and love and truth and faith in me so that
Oh, I knew it. I can't hear it.
Huh? Because my mom ain't qualified to be, the grandmama to do that. She on that.
Now, y'all know there's a storm going on there, so that's probably why the connection is bad. But hold on, let's try to get her back real quick. Yeah. Well.
The Wi-Fi will kick back in.
Oh, there she go.
Okay.
All right.
I'm over here rebuking the Wi-Fi. I'm like, ooh, the TV on. Maybe the Wi-Fi kick back in.
Why didn't I tell y'all she was inspirational?
Definitely that.
Thank you. I'm just telling you what I'm living. I'm just, and I have taken on the task of making it my every reason I get up, every day when I get up, to tell somebody, to teach somebody, to show somebody. I'm so proud, and I'm gonna use my girlfriend as an example because we grew up very different backgrounds. I grew up real spiritual, very hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. That's not how she grew up. Okay. But she met me in such a time where I was really fighting spiritually. So she's seen me change and she's watching me change.
She cut all the way out.
Yep, she was booted out. Y'all, look, boy, she didn't jump back. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. We understand that there's a storm. We understand it's a storm going on.
You know what? And I believe it's symbolic. I believe it's symbolic. Somebody going through a storm right now. Baby, fight through the storm.
Preach.
Fight through the storm. I believe
Somebody's
that.
fighting their way to break through them chains right
Come
now.
on.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Baby, you could pull through. I'm trying to
Mm.
tell you. And what I was saying was, now it's funny now. Well, it's not funny because you know how you always hear the saying birds of a feather flock together.
Always.
If you become a prayer, a thinker, an ambitious person, a doer, do you know if your company don't get up with it, your company will change. And you'll notice when you're changing by the company you're keeping. My girlfriend, I ain't never seen this girl catch no spirit. I believe this chick caught the spirit one more. She scared me. I'm like, is she saved? Girl, I had on a little old John P. Key. I seen her hand. I said, oh, she's saved in here. And I'm telling you, won't God do it? Start praying. Start. Don't only say this thing. Let people witness it. She has witnessed how God has blessed me. She'll sit up and say, wow, God really blessed you like that. Something I'm telling you. I'm gonna tell y'all what just happened. Cause y'all, I don't know if y'all know now. I'm waiting for my test to come back. Cause y'all know I'm supposed to have corona. I'm supposed to have a mask on, be laying down, all type of stuff. I wish I would. Cause if I start behaving that way, then that's what's gonna happen. Honey, I'm handling my business. I'm up talking about how good God really is.
Amen.
And then y'all see how much energy she has.
I'm saying.
Okay.
Wait.
You know, one thing that amazes me is for you to be in your 30s so young and you've gone through a lot, enough for about 2 or 3 people, to still be strong. You understand what I'm saying? And so positive. That's amazing. I mean, I think that's inspiration for a lot of people to realize that they too can change. They can go through or come through whatever it is that, you know, they're trying to change about themselves. Maybe something like I was saying, generational curses that come along or that they experience through families and stuff. You know, I just I think it's very inspirational. You're very strong young lady.
Thank you. And I appreciate that. I'm just looking down because I forgot I was supposed to start a watch party, but I got so excited to get on. I'm telling you,
you have to set the tone for your life and write your own history. That's what I believe in. You have to set the tone for your life and write your own history. And that's what she has done. She's overcame a lot. You know. But go ahead, Kiko. You said you were starting a watch party, or what were you got to do?
I am right now because I got so excited. Let me tell you something. My wife right here, she'll tell you, like, you know, when you sit, that's when you nod and stuff. I was on the backboard of the bed. I said, girl, don't let me go down. Don't you let me. Look, she tapped me. Because I said, you go to sleep when you sit, you can't get up. Girl, she tapped me. She says, 8:54. I said, come on here. The devil is alive. Go on and get me in here. I was like, fix me. You should have seen me. That's why I came on here like, Lord, that's all right. He know my heart. You know my heart. Besides, when white folks see me, they think I'm Whoopi Goldberg anyway. So I said,
oh my God, they
call
us all Whoopi, girl. They call us all Whoopi.
Girl, I'm about to say everybody Whoopi.
No, I ain't gonna lie. I'm embarrassed to say it, but they used to call me Tracy Chapman.
Look here.
I got a fast car.
I can't, man. But I'm telling y'all, I am just determined. What you saw that? No, because I'm gonna tell you what happened. We packing up the move, and I felt like a bat or something flew across the TV, and that would have ended live. That would have.
That was it.
Hey, that's probably why she think she got the corona. That bat that was flying.
I'm telling you, I took a double look. I'm telling you, the show would have been over after that. Y'all
No, ma'am.
But no, seriously. But nonetheless, man, that is my goal. My goal is to really just change lives, speak life into people, because I really believe the times when I was in my deepest of valleys, had somebody just believed enough, had somebody just listened, had somebody just paid attention, it would have made a grave difference. And that's why in my job, girl, I'm supposed to be there 8 hours. Sometimes I'll be there 12 hours, because if I get stopped by one of my older patients and they want to talk to me, I listen. You don't know why. You don't know what you may get from that. And I'm telling you, I've learned some of the best lessons just from listening, just from stopping. When people stop me, to even children, I listen to what they say. This one baby asked me why my titties so long, and I was a little taken back by that.
Why your what?
That hurt my titties so long. Little baby, he said, I looked out and he said, why your titties so long? I said, see, these is ghetto children. That's why I told you don't take me down to that ghetto mall no more. What was the name of that mall? South DeKalb. Man, them kids hurt my feelings. Hurt my feelings. I'm telling you, he said it.
You know how children are. They will say the most crazy things.
Girl, my feelings was hurt. It set me back. I'm not gonna lie, it set me back. I was contemplating stuff I never thought about. I said, I'm gonna go ahead on take about two or three rent checks and get that surgery. I'm gonna let them lift me. You know, I ain't gonna have no baby out here asking me questions like that. But I can't help it. That's just who I am. But yeah, man, I really want to teach people this. You know, I really want to see, people come out strong, come out winning. So many times we get set back by obstacles. You know, me being sick was a major obstacle for us right now. We're in the middle of moving. This is so funny. You right here because you gotta tell me this is true. This is true. I'm telling you, I'm so blessed to be sounding like I'm making it up. Anyway, we're in the middle of moving. We pay everything we're supposed to pay for the house. All of a sudden, the people call back. So you can laugh now, but you were crying then. Now you believe God. Anyway, the people called and said, we're so sorry. The person who was moving out of this particular home rescinded their notice to vacate. We like, what? How did that happen? Then all of a sudden I get sick. So now in the midst of me being sick, she down here lip hanging all the way to the ground. I feel like the world's worst girlfriend. I'm like, Lord, my baby homeless, Lord. I told her mama I'm going to get her somewhere nice to stay. And now I got to call her mama and tell her we at the Red Roach Inn, Lord. And I'm like, man, I got to fix this, but I can't hardly breathe. I got this dry cough, and I don't want to ask for nothing while her feelings hurt because I don't want no cold tea. And, I'm like, I got to figure this out. So we looking for places. We going crazy. We finally find another place, right? Check this out. We thought this place was perfect. Listen to the lesson in this. God is so dope. We like, oh, this place is fly. Now, it had the perfect entertainment space and all that. It was small in certain areas, but we were more focused on the things that didn't really matter. So because it had those amenities, see, now that was something. That was something right there. What was that, a mosquito? See, this making me nervous. See, my ADD will kick in. Is it because of these fake flowers? Do they think they real? Move these flowers.
I'm done.
I'm so sorry.
I'm done.
Anyhow, we thought the house was perfect. We was raving over this home. We knew we was gonna get the home. We put the app in. Right when we put it in, they said somebody just put one in before you, and if they don't pay the money, you can get it. So we call and we stalking. I'm like, they ain't got no money like we got money. Just this is the flesh now. They ain't got money. We gonna get it. We gonna get it. So boom, the lady tells us, well, I don't know. I'll let you know. We don't hear nothing else from her. So now she walk around. She's sad. She done promised she gonna give me a house. And this the second house we not gonna get.
It's all your fault.
Man, and I'm like, damn, I done sent pictures. And I know her mom over there, she's sending me all these damn pictures and ain't got my baby no house yet,
The pressure is real.
Yeah, so I'm like, dang. So this falls through, right? So now at the last minute, now I've been teaching her for a minute. I've been teaching her this because she don't understand how I just have this unbreakable faith. And I will have faith all the way to the end. Like the water could be right here. And I'll be like, no, Lord, because I really believe. So she's like, I'm telling her, babe, it's going to happen in the 12th hour. Right when we get ready to call it a night, we both had looked at the same house, but for whatever reason, they call her back. I feel like they call her back because my name got 13 letters. And they was like, she probably got a Section 8 voucher. And then they saw her name and they were like, we're going to go with this candidate. That's why I don't tell them my whole name. So anyway, they call her back. We go see this house. This house makes sense. Space and stuff is perfect. It just makes more sense. But it doesn't focus on what we thought was the right things. We were focused on the wrong things, entertaining and all that. We were just focused on the wrong things. And the Lord taught me a great lesson. So I said, you know what, God gonna give us this house. So we applied for the house, right? Now, mind you, let me show you how petty I am. We out eating. Whenever I go out and eat, if anybody served me, I over tip them. I ridiculously tip them because I know that's how they make their money. And I believe in sowing in people. So now I'm sowing in this young lady, but I'm in my feelings. I'm like, Lord, I keep doing everything that I'm telling people I'm doing. And you about to let me be homeless in front of this girl, mama. I really need to rent a house, Lord. I'm going to sow into this girl, but I don't even know if I can afford it. If I got to live in a hotel, God. So I'm sowing into the young lady. In my feelings. Now, this is all happening inside of me. Get a lady the money and stuff. And I go home. I lay down. She's still looking at places I ain't worried about. I ain't going to look at nothing else. We get up today and the lady calls. Now the lady called me because she wanted more information, right? So I'm like, okay, because she don't know what the lady said. I'm like, okay, yeah, no problem. Hang up. She looked at me. She said, who that? I said, that's the house people. We got the house. She said, we got the house. I said, yeah, we got the house. She said, we got the house. I said, baby, we got the house. I told you I was going to get you a house, and we got it. That lady called me for paperwork, but I knew. I said no, because I sold into that girl at that restaurant, and I told her, this my last little bit of sewing money. Like, you ain't gonna let me waste this sewing money, Jesus. I know this is it. Boom. I give the lady all the information, right? We go down. Let me tell you how crazy it is. We go down to the house to look at the house again. I call my sister-in-law. So my sister-in-law like, oh, this the house y'all touring? Because she see me at the little lockbox. I said, no, we're not touring it. This is my house. She said, that's your house.
All right.
I said, yes, this is my house. This is what I live here. This
Excited.
is how much this is my house. So she said, well, that's nice. I'm happy for you. Boo, boo, boo. So we finally get home. And the lady sends me the message, hey, everything's been approved. You got to pay this much money. So I said, hey, baby, guess what? We got to pay this much money. I said, but by the way, you remember this morning when I told you this was our house? I didn't know that yet.
Just not understanding that.
Oh, you didn't follow what I was telling you?
No.
Girl, you
Oh my
faith.
goodness.
The Bible
Oh,
says faith, man. You gotta have faith. You gotta speak.
Oh wow.
I'm trying to
prove this.
you know
No,
now.
nothing was approved. Nothing. The lady didn't even hear. I done sent the wrong. I done sent pay stubs from 86. I ain't want to tell you that.
She said from
Because I ain't
86.
want you to be mad at
She
me.
said from 86.
Okay.
The lady ain't. This lady
Oh
ain't
my
never
God.
mad at me. She ain't. I done sent the wrong everything. I done sent her stuff that ain't make no sense to send her that paperwork from that time. Remember I had that rash that they gave me that cream. That wasn't from what you thought. No, that was anybody could get that. That's the new ringworm. We had calamine. Anyway,
Okay.
I'm telling you,
Right.
Fool,
they
I'm
didn't tell
telling
me
you.
nothing. But I say that to say this. It really is what you think, what you believe, and I believe with all my heart after I had done sold my last little bit of sewing money.
That was it.
Yes, ma'am. And it was. Okay. Oh, ye faithful. Like, you don't come telling me about your church and come to your revival and all of that when you can stand behind someone and their card declined for their groceries and you know you got it. And when you know you got it, if you actually have that thought, that's God leading you anyway. And you didn't even sow into that, but now you done cut your blessing short. You waiting on the approval for the loan, and now you got a denial because all you had to do was sow into the lady in front of you, was follow your first mind, your inner God, your intuition, whatever you want to call it. I listen to that at all times. I'm gonna tell you a story. This is a real story. You think that's favor? I'm gonna tell you a real story, right? You got to really get to a place spiritually where you can rock like this, right? I'm gonna tell this is a real story. I can't make this up. I got out the car one day, and remember, I'm telling you, listen to your inner God, listen to yourself, listen to your intuition, whatever you want to call it. Something say, get your umbrella. I was at the gas station. I wasn't really being disobedient. I just didn't get my umbrella. It's a true story. I go in the gas station. It's a bright, sunny day. I grab something to drink. As I'm standing on the line, it's like pouring rain, like the storm right now. I start hysterically laughing. I'm like, wait a minute. How is it? I'm like, okay, God, okay. It's a storm. Now, I didn't have to get caught in a storm, but I forgot the first rule that I've been teaching everybody else. Listen, okay? Now, the rain's pouring. I go pay for my stuff. I said, you know what, Lord? If you just hold up the rain, if you just hold up the rain, you have not because you ask not, so I can get to my car. You know, he held up the rain. I'm not making this up. I promise. She'll tell you this stuff happened. I'm like walking to my car, but a little see, I'm a PK. That spirit jumped in my shoulder, and I had to let that little stomp out right quick. Now, mind you, I'm on my thug fizzle. I'm not looking like no super feminine nobody in the full on getting my praise on. An older woman gets out of a black Chrysler 300, and she see me. She said, "Baby, I know praise." When I said, she start praising him. I got in the car and I sat there and I said, "That's it." Some of y'all going through the storm because y'all ain't even listening. Okay? God's subtle messages. Don't go that way. Don't wear that. Something tells you don't drink coffee, drink water. All of that is your inner God, your intuition, your first mind. Listen to that. That's what protects you. That's what keeps you. Listen you start to have that connection with yourself spiritually, with your God spiritually, you can actually ask for things and watch them happen, but you have to put that stuff out there. You have to not worry about what people think of you. You have to not take anything personal. I take nothing personal. I am one of the most different people in the world. I might come outside looking any kind of way in any kind of color one day because that's how I feel in my spirit. It don't bother me what people think. When you allow what people think to bother you, you allow them to control you. You limit yourself. You condition the way you're thinking to the expectation of others. Okay? No, ma'am. I let nothing bother me. I am more spiritually connected with God than I've ever been in my life. I realize my entire spiritual connection has been lacking because of my spiritual insecurities. And I had those spiritual insecurities because those were indoctrinated in me from a very young age. I was told that being who I am meant I was going to hell. No, man, I am living my most blessed life right now.
Amen.
I'm talking about I done survived. What? Now, I ain't gonna tell you I ain't a little off, and I always mention that on every live or anything I'm on, just in case the disability office is watching. My paperwork is pending. I do have an appeal on record, and I just want to go ahead on and say for the record, these folks living on here can tell you that something ain't right all the way, but I'm yet blessed. I'm yet blessed. I am. I challenge y'all to be blessed, man. I challenge y'all to take the opportunity. When someone comes to you nasty, when someone comes to you sideways, when someone comes to you wrong, respond with love or not at all.
That's right.
I challenge you to forgive and don't worry about if they forgive you. That's hard. That's big. I challenge you to look in the mirror and talk to the young you, the child you, the little you, and say the things you wish someone would have said. Now, let me tell you something about that type of deliverance. See, this is why we need to stop being so biased to therapy and get away from these black stigmas that say, therapy is for people that's crazy. I thank God for that white woman that be talking to me, honey. You hear me? That woman got me talking to myself, and I thought that was only for crazy people. No, healthy people speak life into themselves. They don't wait for somebody else to tell them what they're going to do. They tell themselves, hey, you can do this today. You want to go back to school? Yeah, you can do that. Get in that mirror and talk to your inner child, baby. Because when you go in there and nurture that inner child, that's when your dreams cut back on. That's when your gifts get activated. Because all that starts from when you're most innocent. And as you get older and the traumas and the stress and the pain buries and kills your inner child, you lose your imagination. Your imagination is your faith, is your gift. You have to have the ability to imagine to get anywhere. If you can't see yourself there, you'll never get there. I challenge you to talk to the hurt, the broken child. So even if you were bullied, if there was an experience in your life that is the reason why you have a weight problem right now. Maybe your mama told you, the closest people to you told you were fatter, you weren't cuter, you need to look like your brother, you need to act like your sister. I challenge you to talk to that person. Watch how God bring you out. You think people can talk to me and take me down? Me? Honey, first of all, I done spoke to me first before I even got outside. I done had a conversation in a relationship with me before I left the house. I felt cute in the mirror when I told myself, girl, you did that, not combing your hair and doing your eyebrows today. So you think when I see you and you like, oh, she out here, she got her eyebrows need to be done. Oh, her acne. So you think I feel awake? Honey, I done spoke life into all this before I left. That's why you can't understand why I command the atmosphere, why you can't sit around me too long, why everyone's drawn to me, honey. That's because that's what I give off. When I leave the house, I'm high on spirit. I'm
Amen to that. Amen.
You receive what you give.
Come on.
All right.
Come on. I'm so y'all gotta forgive me. Y'all know I'm a bishop's daughter. We long-winded. Baby, get me some orange juice so it feel right. You gotta get you a little white little road. You can hand me that cup with me.
I mean, Kiso, we enjoyed having you on. You've been a blessing.
Thank you.
Before, you are very inspirational.
Amen.
And I'm telling you need to stick. Listen to me. You need to stick to your calling, and I mean that. No matter how long it takes to get there, I mean, you have everything.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate that. I'm serious.
Thank you. You are welcome on our show anytime.
Yes. Oh, thank y'all.
We enjoyed you, and we're gonna be waiting to see this love project. Okay.
Okay, yes, the
Okay.
Love Project is dropping. I am getting ready to work on my documentary. Y'all stay tuned for that. The Love Project is really about to be a big movement, man, and I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm excited. Please stay tuned. Please.
All
Thank
right. Thank
you.
you for coming.
Thank you.
All right. You take it easy and get well. Boy,
That sister got a lot to say, honey. Yes.
hey, I told you, inspirational, man. She's something else. I don't even know what to say.
I'll say it
Ain't that,
again. To be so young, y'all. To be so
ain't that
young. You know what I'm
amazing?
saying?
That's amazing.
Mm.
What
She
y'all think,
definitely has a testimony. She has her testimony. She really
And
does.
yep, yeah. And I think that definitely apply is inspirational again, to our topic. She's shared that religion or that faith, that inner faith, I guess, is something that was able to help pull her through a lot. And I think that probably can people other people can see that, you know what I'm saying, or can appreciate that. And I don't know, faith is something. It's
what I
powerful.
really like about her is that she's not ashamed to be who she is. You know what I mean? And she is in control of her own life. She sets the tone for her own life. Like I said earlier, she rewrites her own history, whatever. I mean, I just like her. Her vibes are good. She gives off a lot of love. And like she says, she receives a lot of love back. And
When you say rewriting your own history, that you do
well,
you
because she grew up in a sort of rough household, and she didn't follow in her mom's footsteps. Her mom was on crack also, and she chose a different path. So
okay? So that I think a lot of us can relate to, I think that goes along with the topic again. I keep saying it because it just seems to hit home.
I think she did break her chain. She broke the chain. She didn't follow in her mom's
And
footsteps.
she
I
can
mean,
put it the other way. The walk that she walked, with the talk that she talked, even with her son and the cancer. We all could never fathom that thought of losing one of our children's, and she did it. She did it, and she's still
and look at
walking
her
by.
spirit. And look at her spirit. Even
She's
though she had that loss, look at her spirit. I'm telling
she's
you.
still walking by faith. Faith
Yeah.
the size of a mustard seed, and baby, that seed is very small, but she got it. She definitely
Oh,
Oh,
got it.
yeah.
There's a lot of people that say, they got it and they're Christian and they believe, but they have their doubts. And she never says she don't have her doubts. She just the way she thinks. The way you
Oh,
think, so are you. So you should have. And she refused to think negatively about anything, about anybody, or to let it affect her in any way. And I
yeah.
can't I can't sit here with you all as my friends and say that I'm that strong. I'm strong, but I ain't that strong. Y'all know I have my doubts every day, babe. I'm aching now, okay? When
Thank
she
you. Y'all know I'm the biggest baby. Okay, cry in a minute. Yeah.
so when
So
she said that, I was like, well, girl, you need to straighten that back up. You see me start rocking in the show. I started rocking a little bit. And I remember Judy saying, be still, don't move. I'm sorry, Judy, but my back there, I had
Was you
to
about
rock.
to shout, girl? Was you about to shout? Because I sure was. I was saying, Judy, don't get up. Sit still, don't get up. You know how you be slapping them in the church, girl.
yes, yes,
Like,
yes.
Don't
wait,
make me get up.
wait a minute. All I needed was some Tamala man or something in the
I'm
background.
telling
Okay.
you,
That's why
yes.
I was
Kept
sitting
me
there. I said,
control.
wait till she come on. Babe, girl there. I'm telling you. You need to go to the pulpit. Go ahead. But like she said, she's going to have something coming out called the Love Project in a couple of weeks. Oh, man.
Man,
Francis,
I got one thing to ask y'all. What do y'all think is what am I trying to say? What's a number one thing, a positive message, I guess, that y'all each one of y'all can share as far
To
as
be
this breaking the chains and overcoming. What is
I'd
one?
say don't ever give up. Keep pushing, no matter how hard the journey is. As long as you got breath in your body, you can still make a change. That's what I say. And don't feel guilty. Like I said, don't feel guilty about cutting people off. You can't feel guilty about that. You have to do what's fitting for your life.
Okay.
That would be my advice.
Cynthia?
Forgiveness, forgiveness, forgiveness. Not for them, but for you, because holding on to it will hold you back. Forgiveness. Let go and let God. Just let it go. And sometimes it's easier said than done. But my key thing for me daily, dealing with things that I've had to deal with in my past, some in
Hmm.
my present, and hopefully very few in my future. But forgiveness. Forgiveness. I try my best not to walk through hatred. Damn, why they do this to me, why they say that to me, why they act like that towards me. Forgiveness.
All right. Francis?
Mine would be, you have to remember, when you think no one's watching, somebody is watching.
Okay,
Whether
amen.
it's
Yeah,
you
amen.
got, because you have to remember, we got those that look up to us. In order for us to want them to um, be on their own journey, to walk their own path, we have to set an example for them that allows them to want to journey out onto their own path.
Mm.
And I've said this before, a lot of parents tend to live their lives through their children. You can't do that. Whatever it
Mm.
is you didn't get to do in your lifetime, it's not your children's problem. You have to let them be on
Mm.
their journey. You can guide them, but always remember, when you think nobody's watching, somebody's watching.
So
I
I
think that's
can't be
hard for a lot of
Joe.
people.
I can't be
Huh?
Joe. I gotta let Joe go.
Do what?
What'd you say?
I gotta let Joe Jackson go. I can't be Joe no more.
You gotta let him go, girl.
Girl, you too
You
old.
got to let
Oh,
him
you need to
go.
be sitting down somewhere.
Ooh,
See,
Mess around, they gonna do a Joe on you. Or I.
okay. Them hands, them hands.
I have to say that I love, because Francis have said that before, and it was so beautiful when she said it. But in my mind, I'm like, they still owe me. I gotta let Joe go. Like they owe me. They owe me.
and don't get me
What?
wrong,
I wish Tanya would have let me be Joe and would have never broke
Man,
the chains, because them chains that she was under, like I tell all the time, it was kind of good because you turned out just fine. So why are you complaining about the chains?
you're not lying. You know what I'm saying? Because I got dealt with when I was young. I mean, like I said, there was some thing. I went far left field on the other side, but I have to honestly say, even though I went through that, I am a better person for it. I mean, maybe they didn't have to go to the
Let me tell you
extreme,
something. She keep the
but
job. She was top of her nursing class to graduate. Got all kind of awards. I mean, everything. She's always number one at everything. So maybe that abuse or whatever you went through, hey, I don't know. It worked.
I want to say this.
I don't
She
condone abuse. But I'm
she
saying.
she is a very, very, very intelligent and great motivational speaker.
yes.
I think she would have done justice when if we would have known about her and she would have came on the topic of depression.
Oh, amazing. Oh, yes.
That
Yes.
that that would have definitely, that would have fit right in there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree. And you know what, y'all? I think um strength is my contribution to this discussion. Strength to find it however you can through whatever means necessary, because whatever it is that you find that you feel you need to change, find a way to be strong enough to go through it, whether it's music, whether it's the company you keep, your relationship, your friends, family, books, whatever it is, but find a way to be strong. That's strength, spiritual. Talk to whatever you got to do. Find a way to find your strength to get through it, and know that you can. Because
Not
I mean,
only,
go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say, not only that, it's one thing to find it, but you have to dig deep in order to do so.
Yes.
And you have to be willing to do that. If you're not willing to do that, it's one thing to talk about it.
Oh,
We can talk about it all day long, but you have to be willing to face that of your past in order for your present to be all right.
all
You see
right.
what I'm saying? You have to be
Yes,
willing.
ma'am.
You have to be willing to go there. And if you're not willing to go there, then there's no point in trying to dig for something that you're not going to find.
You do have to be ready. Yeah, we talked about
You
that
have to
earlier.
be
You have
you
to
have
be
to be
ready.
ready. And if you
You're right.
but the thing about being ready is sometimes you can't wait to get ready. You got to go ahead and face it. It's going to be hard, it's going to be dark, it's going to hurt. It's going to be all those emotions mixed in one. It's going to be. But the point of the matter is what are you going to do? Keep waiting till later, or you're going to go ahead and tackle it? Because
What about
the longer you wait, the deeper it gets.
what about people who've experienced like I was saying, I had mentioned it earlier about like not just your parents generational. I'm talking about stuff that's in your family from way back, great grandma, great
Yes.
great, you know.
Well,
What about people who are going through that? And I say alcoholism because that was in my family really, really, really strong. And evidently it didn't stop with just, my dad. It went back before and before. So I'm just saying,
to be honest, that part of it, the ones that stem before your dad, like if it was your grandfather, if it stems beyond your grandfather, there's nothing we can do about that. But for those, if they're still living, you know what I'm saying? Within them, that has to change within them. You can't do anything about that. You have to focus on you. However they handle it, however they deal with it, it's like it's on them. Like she said, you have to be willing, and we discussed this in the topic of depression. Forgiveness. You have to be willing to forgive. You don't have to tell them that you forgive them. But
yeah,
when you forgive, you have to feel that. That means that once you forgive, guess what? It's not that you forget about it, but you no longer allow it to have power in your life.
amen to that, honey.
And
Amen.
sometimes that's easier said than
Hey,
done. Even if
Yeah,
that's the route you're
most
trying to take.
definitely.
It's
Most
easier said
definitely.
than done.
Most definitely. So
I
I
believe
mean,
I believe that a lot of people need to just look at their life and start to plan for the future instead of planning for today. You understand? If you plan
Mm.
for your future will thank you later. You know, a lot of people they don't understand that. Do y'all understand what I'm talking about when I say plan for
yes,
your future?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, you know,
No.
Well,
I
it's like if you plan for
I
your
did
future.
my
That's remember,
study.
Judy. When we were younger, we were told that. You know what I'm saying? They used to always say you got to plan for the future. You got to plan for the future. I've heard that through school. I've heard that family members say it. But again, what people fail to realize, you could plan for the future, but if your past is still fucked up and it still haunts you and you hadn't dealt with it, it's gonna fuck things up. I mean, oh shoot, I'm
what I'm
sorry.
saying,
Oh,
what I mean by saying
I
plan
am so
for the
sorry.
future
Oh,
is
I am
saying
so
make
sorry. I
make
apologize.
changes, make change. What?
Yeah, I
What do you mean you
apologize.
apologize for what?
Huh? You didn't hear? Did you not hear that? We just spoke.
Just a small
Judy,
faux pas. Just a
Judy,
small one.
wait, hold on. No, Judy, I did so good. I did so good. I did so good through the doggone almost the whole show. I did so good.
Baby, that's all right.
What you say? Because I didn't got lost now.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's
Y'all
all
gonna
right.
cover it up like a cat. Okay, cover it on up like a cat.
Cover it
You know
up,
what
baby. It's
I'm
all
saying?
right. We got you, girl.
Y'all made me lose thought. You know, I got
No,
that.
you okay? You were saying like change.
I was saying,
You
yeah,
have to make a change.
changes along the way for your future. It's gonna hurt you to
Yeah.
make changes.
Oh yeah.
It's about how you break the chain of
Yeah.
going through in life. Start making changes to change your future.
Okay.
Mhm.
Plan for
Mhm.
the future is what I'm saying.
Got you.
And
I
then
got
when you get to that future, you'll be happy. You'll be thankful for
Okay.
being planned to change. That's what I'm saying.
No. I
And
get.
that
I
breaking
get.
chains and changing your life,
Yeah.
it's not
That
gonna
that
be overnight. Make a plan to fix it.
that okay. And apparently
And then your
we're
future
actually
will thank you later. That's what I
that's
say.
Actually, we said the same thing, just in different ways. You could plan for your future, true enough, and you can start making changes, like Judy said. You can make changes. You have to be willing to face the changes that you need to make in order for this to happen. You could plan on that up there, like she said. But if you haven't changed, if you're not, while you're walking up to that future, if you haven't changed the things that need to be changed or need to be dealt with, that future gonna be a little ugly.
Yep.
I like how y'all put that so poetically and correct in English. So I'm gonna break it down for us hood folks, Ebonics.
Oh my.
I'm gonna say what
Come
my
on, Nate.
dad used to say. I'm gonna say what KB would say. Stay ready, keep from getting ready.
Ready.
Cause
There
when
you
you got
go.
All
to
right.
get
All
ready,
right.
There you
All
go.
you
right.
gonna
And
miss
with
out.
that note, we gonna end it.
Amen.
Francis, do you have a quote for us?
I ended up saying it earlier,
Say it
but
again, baby.
I will say it again. We have to remember, when you think nobody's watching, somebody is watching.
Somebody's
Whether
watching
it's
you. Hey,
no,
I
sometimes I
feel
feel
like
like somebody's watching me. Hey,
woo!
but
Y'all
yes,
And then you
go.
ain't got no privacy. You ain't
we
got no privacy.
listen. Even though we're adults, we still have those watching. Whether it's
Amen.
still our grown children, whether it's still the grandchildren. Here, the
Yes.
only grandchild I got is my cat. So
That's all right.
she watching. So, and then you got, I have a little one. I have to be careful with that. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? So when we think nobody's watching, just remember, it's always somebody lurking and listening and watching you.
All right. Well, y'all, I enjoyed this tonight.
For coming out and tuning in to Straight Talk No BS. And we'll see you Thursday.
Good night.
See, I didn't Monday. I was
What the?
I was trying to see if y'all were alert.
I do it.
Everybody.
Good night.
Good night.